Hey, you crazy cats! Welcome to Leaving Crazy Town, where we navigate the roller coaster of relationships, mental health, and personal transformation with humor as our trusty seatbelt.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and with my buddy Finn, we're here to share our real stories, expert insights, practical tips to help you break free from codependency, reclaim your life, and find freedom.
So whether you're wrestling with boundary issues, craving connections that won't ghost you, or just here for a front row seat to the wild ride of self-discovery, you've come to the right place.
So buckle up, we're leaving Crazy Town.
Welcome to Leaving Crazy Town with Finn and Sarah. What are we going to talk about today, Sarah?
Hey everybody, welcome to Leaving Crazy Town. Today we are going to talk about one of the quintessential components of co-crazy behavior, which is avoiding our feelings. And the thing with codependency is we always think it's about wanting someone else to feel better. But what is it then?
It's about us trying to feel better.
It's about us trying to feel better. We can make up all kinds of stories like, oh, they need us, or I need to do that for them, or...
Don't give away our 5 things.
Okay, sorry. But really it's about not being able to tolerate our feelings. And we do talk about this a lot, but it's critical. And it's also tricky sometimes because we don't even know we're avoiding things, and we are. So that's why we're going to give some examples today.
So today we're going to talk about 5 ways that we avoid uncomfortable feelings. And we'd like to hear how you do it as well. They may sound familiar, they may not. You may have your own.
Exactly. And of course, one way, addiction, I just was going to throw this out. Addicts, not just codependents, avoid uncomfortable feelings, but that's what addiction is. Addiction is a way to just avoid anything I'm feeling. So we could say that's number 1, but I was going to just link it to both addicts and codependents avoid feelings.
It is my number 1.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
And the reason why I'm making it my number 1 is because while I've put alcohol and drugs down,
yes,
I think it's important to mention that I do many other things addictively to avoid feelings. Eating,
yes,
being busy, achievement, planning trips, running, spending money. It could go on forever. Like buying an item that I need is not a big deal. But if I find myself, swipe, and I've spent $100 and I didn't need any of it, I might be trying to avoid something. If I'm running around like, what am I going to eat next? Or if I'm keeping myself busy, or I book 5 trips in one day, I might be avoiding uncomfortable feelings. What's your number 1, Sarah?
Okay, that's really, you know what? I had another number 1, but now I'm thinking of acting out an addiction, okay? I say this all the time. I've been sober a long time. I've been always less than the 1800s, but not that long, but...
Almost.
And I always say I put down booze and I picked up
everything
else. So it is really easy to put down drugs and alcohol, and suddenly, and we have friends. We know lots of people that are acting out in other ways, and we've done it.
And if you've watched recent scrolling on Bumble.
Yes. Whether it's relationship addiction, gambling, food, sex, it doesn't even matter.
All right, so we agree, we both act out. Number 1, top of the list. We have something to deal with. We don't feel like dealing with it. We want to avoid how uncomfortable we are, and we're trying to fill the void.
Let's get a substance. Anything outside of ourselves to make us feel better inside.
God forbid we go to our higher power.
God forbid. Okay. God forbid I feel anything.
All right. What's number 2?
Number 2. Go ahead.
Oh, me. All right. I'm very helpful. I'm kind and helpful. So I tell my... yeah, sure. Okay, so... I might be having an issue with something, with someone in my life or whatever, and instead of addressing it, I am helpful and I start trying to do for them, take care of the situation. And in my mind, I've told myself, oh, you're such a good guy. Look at you doing for them. When really, I'm just uncomfortable with the situation and I want to avoid it. So I just try to be helpful and do things, take care of things.
So you're fearful that they're not managing. I think the underlying feeling, isn't it fear or having no control, or what is the underlying thing that suddenly, oh, I've got to do this for them? Is it that you can't tolerate what?
I may not even
be aware.
Well, no, I'm aware. Well, I'm probably not aware. or at least I'm not at a place where I'm ready to deal with it. It could be very simply that I could even not enjoy what they're doing.
Yes. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So I changed my mind into a helpful mindset instead of addressing the issue.
Instead of the discomfort about what they're doing.
I go over the top in the other direction. Like, I have to be loving and kind. And it's like a forced should thing instead of actually addressing the issue.
Got it. Perfect. Okay. I was going to say mine similar, but it's not really. One of the ways I avoid feelings is I'll get into my head and I'll start rationalizing one of my behaviors. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example. My son is away and something happened. I got something in the mail that was for him that scared me. It's like from the New York parking department. Because my son keeps getting parking tickets in New York City. Okay, so what happens? I go into this panic, like his license going to get revoked. His car is going to be taken away. I mean, I got kind of nutty. Okay, shocking.
Tall tales.
I know that's shocking that I got nutty. Okay, so I got nutty, and I said to myself, you need to text Bo. Now, the kid's in Paris with his girlfriend. He's coming home in 2 weeks.
He can't do anything about what's going on, probably.
People, is it critical that I text him about the parking tickets?
Well, if you don't want to feel uncomfortable, yeah.
Of course it's not. So what happens? You have a fear. You tell yourself a lie. You do the self-seeking behavior. You have self-pity. The trajectory took place in my life. I had the fear. I made up the story. I needed to text Bo. So I not only texted him, but because sometimes I think I need to text both of them because he might not respond to me, another manipulation. I text him and his girlfriend.
Oh.
And of course, do you think he wants his girlfriend to know?
No.
Not at all. He doesn't want to be embarrassed. So I texted him something. It was manipulative, let's face it, Sarah, because I was feeling scared about his situation. Totally about me. He ended up responding and set a boundary with me, which was great. Okay, rationalizing behavior. All right. I don't need to go into more details. I could tell more of the story. Sorry. Go ahead. Number 3.
I don't let other people talk. So if we're in a situation and I don't even know I'm anxious, one of the ways I can figure it out, and actually my late wife pointed this out to me, that I try to manage conversations by talking constantly so they can't say anything that might make me feel uncomfortable. And I don't even need to think they're going to. I could just be feeling uncomfortable myself for some reason or feeling unsafe. And I just go on and on and on, and I don't let anyone else talk because I'm afraid of what might come up.
Got it. Brilliant.
It's usually a super irrational fear. But anyway, it's something I'm working on.
God, brilliant. I didn't even have this one down, but one I used to do is chronic asking of questions.
Oh, boy.
Which is similar.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
oh, you had the example on a prior video with the table.
Oh, that's right.
When
you get
Bo was putting the table
afraid.
together.
That's right.
Yeah.
If I get afraid of something, the next thing I know, I'm calling my friend and say I'm afraid to go on a trip or something. I might be calling my friend incessantly, geez, do you have, call him Finn, geez, do you have the blah, blah, blah? Did you have the this? Did you bring this? When really, I'm just having uncomfortable feelings, but I'm all of a sudden asking him questions like, why?
Such a joy.
I just need...
Because I love questions coming at me.
Okay, I hadn't even thought of that one. That's another one.
All right. I know that everyone who knows me is going to find this shocking, but all of a sudden, Finn becomes controlling and managing. So I try to control and manage everything around me, and I take control. I'm a very take charge kind of guy, and I'm often...
Which is great in certain arenas.
Yeah, if it's not fear-based and I'm not trying to avoid how uncomfortable I am, and very similar to what you were saying about the questions, I'll take over.
Yes.
Because I want to make sure it goes the way it's supposed to.
Yes.
Why?
Yes. Very good example.
Yeah, I actually don't like sometimes to not know what's going to happen. Right. Because it creates an uncomfortable feeling in me. So I make what's going to happen.
Yes.
Never a good outcome.
Control is a huge one.
Is that on your list?
Well, it should be. And it is in kind of a tricky way. So... my other one was I lied to myself. Okay, so how I'm bringing this up is I were acting out lying to myself. So basically, I had this situation with a friend of mine who did a project for me. We had this situation where I didn't want to tell him something.
Oh.
And
Why? Was it going to make you feel uncomfortable?
That was my point. Because I was going to feel guilty. I was going to have to address something in the relationship that was upsetting me, which of course I wanted to avoid. So instead of dealing with it directly, I kind of did this sneaky around the bend. I can't even describe what I did, but I was trying to manipulate it so he didn't know I really was. It was ridiculous. So I was telling myself the lie that I didn't really need to tell him this. That was the lie. But really, I didn't want to tell him this, that I decided to go with someone else on a project.
Did you want him to know, like find out and be fine with it a different way?
Probably. Yeah. I just, you know what? I was avoiding my own feelings.
And all these uncomfortable things just go away.
Yeah, and this is the thing about co-crazy recovery and freaking sobriety. We need to learn how to tolerate being uncomfortable.
And I have to say, once I walk through the uncomfortable conversations, I'm always surprised at like how much better I feel and how well it goes. It's so crazy. Anyway, so number 5 for me is avoidance. I avoid people, places, and things that I have an uncomfortable feeling with. Instead of owning it, walking, if I have to talk to someone, I'll just avoid them as much as I can until it's intolerable or I'm not able to avoid them anymore. So I'm actually prolonging the uncomfortable feeling, which is usually not great. And I go into then a secondary rationalization as to why it's okay that I'm doing what I'm doing. But I will definitely avoid, until I'm ready to deal with it. And I'll tell myself all kinds of really good stories as to why I'm avoiding it. It's not to not talk about it. It's just not a good time yet. What's number 5 for you?
We are so tricky. And you know what I've got preoccupied with? I thought we were on number 4, but are we at 4 or 5?
We're on 5 because I did busy, addiction, don't let others talk, control.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Number 5.
I thought we were on 4. Okay. Mine is blame someone else. Or focus on someone else. So basically, say I'm having an uncomfortable feeling like I'm afraid, usually around my son. I can suddenly say to myself, well, he shouldn't be doing that. Or why did he make me feel that way? Or why did he choose that? Or why did he say that? Rather than, geez, I'm feeling uncomfortable about a situation and I need to speak up about it. I need to share my discomfort. I don't need to change his behavior, but it's so easy. We are so brilliant.
Our minds are amazing creatures.
Making it someone else's fault.
Spinning it out. Yeah.
I love it.
I wouldn't feel this way if you didn't blah, blah, blah.
Which is literally how codependents operate, right? I'm the victim. You did this to me. How can you do this to me? Blah, blah, blah. So we're trying to really change that paradigm about our recovery, and we're going to wrap this up.
And how can we change it? What can we do to recognize we're in an avoidant behavior and then change that? What could we do?
Okay, what can we do?
Pause.
I think if I'm focusing on anyone else and anything they're doing to me, that's a sign.
Who is responsible for your thoughts, feelings, and actions, Sarah? Me. I'm responsible for mine. Sarah's responsible for hers. So we'd love to hear what are the ways you avoid uncomfortable feelings and what you would do to walk through them and address them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I was talking about the 10th step for the people in recovery on Saturday night, and it's all that spiritual axiom Bill W. talks about, where if I'm feeling upset at any time, it's up to me. Like, it's about me. So,
because guess what? People, places, and things are going to be everywhere you go.
Everywhere.
If you don't learn to regulate this.
That's right.
It's going to be a rough, bumpy ride, people.
Emotional regulation is so key. And not that we don't have ups and downs, but blaming others or trying to escape it by focusing on something else is not going to get us the freedom. And we want freedom. All right. We love you.
We're out of here.
We're
Fasten your seatbelts, people.
Thanks for listening to Leaving Crazy Town. We hope today's episode offered you valuable insights and tools to help navigate your relationships.
If you found our discussion helpful, please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast. and share it with a friend. Misery loves company, right?
Stay connected with us on social media and visit our website for additional resources and updates on future episodes.
Until next time, remember that breaking free from codependency is a journey, and we're here to help you every step of the way. And hey, if all else fails, at least you'll have a few left.
So buckle up, we're leaving Crazy Town.